Hello, welcome to another video. Compared to the usual videos I've uploaded, where I just use a combination of text plus a song to explain everything, I thought I would try to use my own voice alongside it to better convey my thoughts and hopefully make some parts of the video a bit more clear. As you can already see on the screen, I will still be using some subtitles to clarify what I'm saying a bit better. This is the first time I'm actually uploading a video where I also recorded my own voice. So apologies if the quality of the video might be a bit more lacking, as I'm still trying to get used to recording this way. If you like this type of video and want to see more, or just like the video in general and it has proved helpful to you, please give the video a like, subscribe, share, and all the usual stuff almost every YouTuber tells you to do in their videos. It might seem minor, but every little bit helps out a lot. And with that, I hope you enjoy the video. So, this is the team composition I'm using with all of its artifacts. It is focused on just dealing as much damage as possible with all the artifacts that allow for maximum damage. These include Wand, Frozen Mirror, Templar Glory, and Wings of Angel. The reason I use Wings of Angel and not Bow, because I have both unlocked, is because of the dodge chance Wings gives while still allowing to apply a debuff to Einstein. The speed order of this team is Houston, Ronin, Time, Kinley, and finally Orochi. When Yi acts isn't of any relevance whatsoever for the sequence of the damage or the team composition in general. The reason Houston is fastest is because Time has Sage Stigmatas equipped. The reason this is done is to clear all of the A heroes using the Sage buff before Orochi acts. This ensures that his entire skill is focused on Einstein and Einstein only, which will be demonstrated and shown later in the video. We make Ronin the second fastest to ensure that any possible surviving A heroes get cleared by his basic attack. This also makes it so that both Houston and Ronin buffs or debuffs get applied before Orochi uses his skill via Time or Kinley orb feeding. Since I can imagine that some people don't have all of the evil artifacts I am using in my team unlocked, I will list some alternatives you can use depending on what you're struggling with in the team. First thing that should be mentioned, Orb is an absolute necessity to make this team work. There is no alternative really for Orb in order to make this team even as remotely relevant as without Orb. Besides that, every artifact mentioned here does have an alternative that can be used, but is less optimal for damage. I won't mention any alternatives for Wings, Frozen Mirror or Templar Glory, as they are unlockable through free messes like the Supreme chest or the normal chests. I will mention alternatives for Scythe and Wand. For Scythe, since it's just a pure DPS artifact, you can realistically replace it with Eternal Soul or Miracle Dawn. I haven't extensively tested which one of the two is better for Orochi specifically, but Eternal Soul gives more raw stats that are beneficial to Orochi, like skill damage. So I am more leaning towards Eternal Soul as an alternative for free-to-play players. For Wand, there is no similar replacement that is also free to get. I would simply suggest to replace it with any other divine artifact that gives some form of utility to the team, like Radiance Tribute or Beacon, especially if you're struggling to keep your team alive. If your Yi specifically struggles to survive, giving him Divine Prayer would be more optimal to ensure he survives. I will now share the remaining details of my team like gems and talents. Do note that preferred talents and gems vary depending on which week of Einstein Quantum Invasion it is. When facing the Nature week, aka the Cheetah Runners, it is preferred to use effect resistant gems and use the Concentration talent, also known as Transcend Talent 3, on Time and Kinley. This is to ensure they have at least 100 effect resistance and won't get stunned by the Cheetah Runners, or are less likely to get stunned. Time gets effect resistance from his exclusive equipment, so effect resistance gems aren't as big of a necessity as they are for Kinley. I will now briefly share all the details and stats of every hero, since they don't really need any extensive or detailed explanation that I haven't already shared in my previous videos. And I'll mostly show them for comparison's sake, since a lot of people always ask me what force I have, what speed, what armor, etc. This is more for those people that want to compare and see what they might be lacking compared to me and my QI runs or my heroes in general. So for Orochi, there are a couple of things you have to keep in mind when building him. First off, just like with every other hero, there are limits of a specific stat. I've mentioned this a couple of times before in my other videos, but I will briefly mention them here again. The most notable limits are on crit and broken armor. For crit, the upper limit is 160, and for broken armor it's 100. And besides that, it's important to focus on skill damage, crit damage, and attack, with the highest priority being on skill damage. As you can see on my gear or armor, I have the highest priority on skill damage, because skill damage you can get in the highest abundance on your gear and armor. Besides that, I try to more focus on attack or whatever I have available. For stigmatas, I have for the top left and left position a big focus on skill damage and then attack. On the bottom left and bottom right sticks, I have a bigger emphasis on crit damage and crit. And on the right and top right positions, I have tried to focus on mostly broken armor. For gems, I try to just use a mix of crit and crit damage. I don't have skill damage gems, otherwise I would have replaced them with the crit damage gems, but this is also fine. For gem skills, I use Bloody Rage because it's more consistent to use on Orochi. And for the level 5 gem skill, I use Charge Shot because that's the only one that actually has an impact on the damage Orochi gives. The other two don't really have an impact. So for the final bit of the video, I'll be sharing the entire QI run without any commentary. If you want to skip through the run, you can do so. I will be adding some small features or highlights to really explain the team composition a bit better in detail, but this will again be without commentary.
Don't wanna drown in troubled waters, I need a hand to hold. Don't wanna wait here any longer, all that I need to know. How far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from London to Rio? I just wanna know, how far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from 100 to 0? I just wanna know, how far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from London to Rio? I just wanna know, how far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from 100 to 0? I just wanna know, would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? Would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? Would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? How far would you go? I just wanna know, would you go around the world? You could be stranded in the desert, I'd find a way to you. Take all the pain and kiss it better, nothing that I won't do. How far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from London to Rio? I just wanna know, how far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from 100 to 0? I just wanna know, would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? Would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? Would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? How far would you go? I just wanna know, how far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from London to Rio? I just wanna know, how far would you go, from Paris to Tokyo, from 100 to 0? I just wanna know, would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? Would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? Would you go around the world, around the world, around the world? Ocean outside, clouds that are forming. Can't wait to shut out the birds, wait till the morning. And in the hourglass, there's a freedom in falling. But I know it's only a matter of time. It only takes 4 or 5 seconds for a bounce to float. It's sinking or swimming, thinking of you in the afterglow. But I still believe that we are only going through the motions, If we could turn the tides, got 4 or 5 seconds and we're out of time. It only takes 4 or 5 seconds for a bounce to float. It's sinking or swimming, thinking of you in the afterglow. But I still believe that we are only going through the motions, If we could turn the tides, got 4 or 5 seconds and we're out of time. Can't shut our eyes, gravity calling. And if you're not coming back, can be a warning. While we touch the sky, there's a freedom falling. But I know it's only a matter of time. It only takes 4 or 5 seconds for a bounce to float. It's sinking or swimming, thinking of you in the afterglow. But I still believe that we are only going through the motions, If we could turn the tides, got 4 or 5 seconds and we're out of time. I hold my hands up, whoa, hold me on my I want what you made of. Now our time's up, oh, hold me on my I want what you made of.
This was the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed or learned something from it. In the background you see an alternative theme I'll consider making if enough people show interest. It's not as good, but it should still perform really well. Please let me know if you like this type of content or the way I record it with my voice, or if I should revert to the old way. Thanks again for watching and see you in the next video.